got an Australian male who's gone over to Colombia for 2 weeks. He's gone over there, but in the meantime, he's left Colombia and gone to Thailand for 4 days via France for no real reason whatsoever. And then he's headed back to Colombia from what we can see for a day, but he's saying 5 days.
All of the man's belongings are closely inspected, and any suspicious items are taken to the X-ray for a closer look. In this case, his bag shows no reason for concern to officers. The rest of the man's bag contents check out, so officers will now have to assess him for a body frisk search.
A frisk search, and what that involves is the male officer is going to run his hands over your outer clothing. It's not going to be touching any skin. Again, that's just to make sure you're not carrying anything on your body.
I'm just been on holiday.
Okay, well, I've got some rights for you. So do you read, what language do you read best? English? I'll just get you to read that on both sides for me, please.
Issuing of the frisk caution is important as it outlines the passenger's rights. It is also a good time for officers to observe his demeanour.
It's not a problem.
You actually have to read this on both sides for me.
I just did.
Did you read everything?
I read it all. Yeah.
You read both sides?
Yeah.
And you understood it all?
Yeah.
And you said consent to the search? Yeah. Okay.
Just a frisk search.
Yep, would you like to do it here or in a private room?
I just want to get... Can we just do it here?
Here's fine? No.
Fine, mate.
Okay.
I want to get going. Oh, man. Just first one this way. I'm not going to touch your skin. It's going to go in your clothes, right?
In Western Sydney, an immigration compliance team is preparing to raid a factory with suspected illegal workers. With reliable information that relates to the ownership of a vehicle, they believe that at least one person of interest is working here today.
So Gary went past the site this morning, and when he drove past, he saw the Ford that belonged to our person of interest parked out the front. So most likely the person of interest is at work today and is currently on site.
Officer Coons briefs his team.
Surveillance was conducted and the Ford Falcon was parked out the front. A check with the RTA shows that the Ford is owned by our person of interest. Once we get in, if you guys can go through first, through the main gates, I'll look for the owner of the company with a copy of the warrant. We'll probably flush people out through the back, but you never know, someone might loop around and come out through the front.
So now officers will have to move quickly to get into position and secure the premises. Australia has become a favourite destination for travellers wanting to have some fun and indulge in a bit of partying.
It's not pretty.
For these young Canadian girls, the party must have started well before they got here. They have not declared some packets of sunflower seeds.
We brought them from Canada. But we eat them, we don't feed them to the birds.
Exactly, they're food.
Yeah.
But the quarantine officer may have a tough time making the girls understand their mistake.
Question number 6. Can you read that?
Preserved, cooked, uncooked.
Okay. You eat these, so they're food. Okay, question number 7. Yeah. That's a snort.
This could take a while. In Melbourne, customs officers are investigating a man travelling from Colombia. A luggage search has yielded no results. The frisk search is also negative.
Just have your shoes, mate. There's nothing.
But because of an earlier detected dog reaction, officers are now also interested in the man's footwear.
We can do it in a room if you like. If you're happy to take them off, that's fine.
I just want to go.
Customs has been looking for?
See your driver's licence, please, or what ID you've got.
Sir, can you come here too, please, mate?
Factory workers need to show identification, which will be cross-checked with information by a compliance base operator in Sydney.
Once we've gained entry, we spoke to the owner. He's provided us with permission to enter and check his staff. He's been quite cooperative, which is very helpful. He's allowed us to use his office to conduct our interviews. We've cleared 3 people so far, and they've gone back to work. They were Australian citizens.
Quickly, the officers are able to confirm the legitimacy of most of the workers.
Second given name is Lima Uniform Alpha November, born 2 September 64.
All right, mate, everything's fine. There's your licence, so you're fine to go back to work.
Already there is concern about the behaviour of one man and another who is not offering any information.
He won't tell us where he's living and...
He doesn't know, apparently.
And this man seems to match the description of the person of interest that officers are looking for.
That's the one he gave us.
But his ID does not.
Question number 7.
Quarantine officer Cameron is trying to make 2 Canadian passengers understand that they have failed to declare some packets of seeds.
Seeds. What are they?
But the girls may have had a drink or 2 on the flight before arriving.
If they weren't okay and you hadn't declared them, you could be fined $200. Okay. Okay.
I had a plane's fault.
It's not the plane's fault.
For hours.
Driving. They let you drive the plane. That was lucky. Okay, you have to declare these items because
I'm sorry.
these are okay because they're actually roasted. But if they weren't roasted, then they could actually introduce a disease into Australia.
I know that antibodies, whatever, are going to come and affect you. I agree.
Exactly. Today, this is just a warning.
Yes,
you can bring these in. You have to declare them. Okay.
Stupid idiot, but declare it. I'm sorry. I will check it.
Okay. Well, I can understand it's funny, but it is also important.
It is
important.
And I do want to take care of your...
And I don't want you to be fined next time and have your whole holiday ruined. So declare them, and no problem.
So the girls are let off with a warning.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
And are free to continue on their Aussie adventure if they make it out of the terminal.
Get out of here!
A man has been detained by customs officers in Melbourne. So far, the search has uncovered nothing, but the officers are very suspicious due to his recent travel movements.
The movements aren't usual. Usually if someone's going to go to Thailand, they'd come back to Australia. And there's no reason for him to go back to Colombia from Thailand, because he said he left Colombia because the weather wasn't great and now he's gone to Thailand but then gone back to Colombia, and it just makes no sense.
His shoes have revealed some unusual shadings on the X-ray, and the officers are going to take a much closer look.
So what we want to do is drill a little hole into it.
The drill did not produce any obvious signs of narcotics, but Officer Kathleen will conduct an itomizer test just to be sure. Kathleen says it's possible that he may just be a regular tourist.
It looks all right. I'm just going to do a quick test just in case.
The man may soon be on his way, until...
Find it. That's a girl. Turn. Find it. Where is it? Good girl. Turn. Find it.
Melissa taps the packages, partly to focus Dodie, but also to expel air to release any odour.
Good girl. Well done, Dodie. What'd you get? Good girl. Well done. Okay, so what we've got here is a small parcel from Hong Kong, declared as confectionery. So we're going to have a look at this. It sounds a bit sus. Now it's wrapped in foil too. That doesn't sound to me like it would be confectionery. Now I'm just going to open this up. It's quite tightly wrapped, this parcel.
And what quarantine is about to discover is potentially very dangerous.
It's all matched.
At a factory in Sydney's west, immigration officers have confirmed the identity of another worker.
Go back to work, mate. Thank you.
One of the men, talking through an interpreter, is still not giving officers the information they need to determine his legitimacy.
He won't tell anything. It says he's got no ID, and he won't disclose what his address is. He can't write it down. He can't say it in English.
He can't take us there.
This man is providing identification, but his driver's license appears to be counterfeit, as all of the security features are missing.
Oh, there's no hologram or anything.
Hologram's all stuffed up.
Just tell us fibs.
So officers will now need to check the authenticity of his passport. It's the key to the man's true identity. At Australia Post's Melbourne Gateway facility, a bizarre and potentially dangerous product has been given to quarantine risk manager Michael.
What we have here is some what they call bird's nest. It's in a dry form. It comes from a swift that goes up into a cave, but actually it's bird spittle from the saliva.
Bird's nest soup, made from these saliva nests, is a Chinese delicacy and one of the most expensive dishes available, and is regarded as the caviar of the East.
It's one of the most expensive Chinese foods for human consumption. Very costly. This one would be worth about $500 Australian, just that. It's very high risk in that we are talking about avian influenza or bird flu. If avian influenza were to get into Australia, we start thinking about what the impact is into, say, our poultry industry, what it would do to our wildlife and bird life. We do talk about the pandemic virus getting out as well, human to human. That'd be the next stage. So very high risk. Yeah, so we need to control it and intercept this wherever we can that's coming through.
Back in Melbourne, this passenger's shoes have triggered a strong drug response on the itomizer machine.
We've got a reading for cocaine on them, so we'll do some further tests and we'll see.
The passenger looks on, while the officer's next step is to take another sample from the shoe's centre to apply to a chemical drug test kit in the customs tool room.
Just drilled passenger sandals out there. The X-ray is inconclusive. Doesn't look anything too suspicious, but our trace detection test does give a positive for cocaine. So we'll just do a test here. We've been looking for a blue colour, which has been a negative.
The shoes seem to have led customs to a dead end, but the strong drug reading and his travel history give officers reason to take the investigation to another level. Immigration compliance officers have made a breakthrough in determining the identity of one of the two men.
He's got no identification on him, but he's provided us with his name and date of birth. And through our systems, we've obtained some information, and we've gone back to him and he's confirmed those details. So we're pretty confident that we've identified who he is. The only issue with him at the moment is he is on a student guardian visa, and he's looking after a minor who's 17 years old. So we'll have to take that into consideration when we decide what our next step will be with him.
The man's guardianship visa conditions state no working, so the man is escorted from the business property. He will need to front up to an immigration office with his passport and visa documents and have his case reviewed within the next 2 days.
Okay. Chishi. Okay.
Inside, there has also been progress made with the last remaining man, who seems to be the individual that officers initially targeted.
He's confirmed his identity. He's given us his driver's licence when we initially spoke to him. They've also found a driver's licence, a New South Wales driver's licence in a different name, but that driver's licence seems to be forged.
In Melbourne, customs officers have had several reasons for their suspicions of this passenger.
Took a number of atomizer swabs out of his bag and off some of his personal belongings, and they came up positive for cocaine off his shoes. And also, when he came through the immigration line, our drug detector dogs were working, and they also had a reaction to his shoes. When he voluntarily removed his shoes, they weighed about 1 kilo each, so just sandals, which is unusual. So we did some further checks on him and drilled a couple of holes in and ran some tests.
At this stage, we're still not quite...
Yeah, we've heard about something about the shoes.
The shoes we're happy with, but what we want to do is just move into a private room now and have just a bit of an extra chat with you, okay? So if you just want to come with us. Yeah, please bring all your stuff.
Customs will now involve the officers from the Australian Federal Police, and the man will be assessed for an internal concealment.
Okay, well, the outcome at this point is we have reasons to believe that he might be carrying the drugs inside him. He's been very nervous throughout the entire examination. He can't give any clear answers to any questions that we've asked. We're sending the passenger for internal search. Internal search will be done, if he consented, will be done at a medical facility, and it'll be an X-ray or a CAT scan.
The man did not consent to a scan and was ordered by a magistrate to undergo a medical examination. He was found to be carrying 102 pallets of cocaine, which was concealed internally. His shoes also contained a quantity of cocaine. When this woman arrived off a flight from Vietnam, officers' suspicions were aroused by her nervous behaviour.
Basically, she's come off a flight from a high-risk country, and one of the officers wasn't happy with the answers she was given to the questions, so he's decided that she warranted further examination through a bag search.
These are big shoes.
Very true.
Huh? How long were you away in Vietnam?
2 weeks.
2 weeks altogether? Will you go back?
I don't
No?
I don't know.
The officer has found evidence that indicates this passenger has a history of gambling.
Friend give to me.
At the casino?
Yeah, casino Melbourne, you know.
In Melbourne?
Yeah.
Do you play
Oh, no.
blackjack? You play blackjack or cards or roulette?
Oh, I go round, I look sometimes, I
Pokies?
put the like, you know.
The poke?
Yeah, just
You play pokey or blackjack?
blackjack.
Blackjack.
Sometimes...
How do you afford it if you don't work?
Huh?
You don't work?
Oh,
How do you play roulette?
Sometimes children give me 50.
Your children? They give you money to play roulette?
$50 I go, you know.
Do they?
Yeah.
You're good children.
Yeah.
She's alright.
Yeah, she said her children pay for roulette. Her children pay for a gamble. Give her cash each time she wants to go.
So who paid for the ticket?
Her children. She's got 4 children growing up. They pay for a ticket to go see her sick mother. Alright? Yeah, I'm going to x-ray them. Okay?
Officers have decided to check the passenger's shoes. Because of their unusually large size, they are concerned they might be concealing something. Sydney, a British passenger is being questioned by immigration.
Well, I've just been on a nightmare flight from England, so it's the last thing I needed, really.
He may have failed the character test necessary to allow him past the border.
On this part of the form, there's a bit there that says, do you have any criminal convictions? And I read it and thought, shall I lie? But then I thought, there's no point in lying because I've served my sentence. So I ticked yes, and here I am, locked in a room again, answering questions, really.
Anxiously waiting outside the immigration office is John's girlfriend, Kelly.
Really stressed out, I'm tired. I know Johnny had declared that he had a criminal conviction and I assume they want to talk more in detail about it, but I don't know what the laws are here. I have no idea. I don't know what the situation is, so I'm a bit emotional and a bit stressed out.
Having a criminal conviction, John should have applied for a visa in person and could have avoided this situation.
We need to examine the offence that you were committed for very closely.
Yeah.
Because this is a very significant issue.
In Melbourne Customs, officers have just x-rayed the unusual shoes of a passenger arriving from Vietnam.
Set of green, one's more green. This looks totally different materials, that one.
That's the one that looks different.
Yeah, I want it bent this way.
There's not much difference. It feels like it though.
Officers still feel there are many unanswered questions, so they want to take this inquiry to the next level.
We'll go in a room, an interpreter, and we'll go through everything with it. So, number one, we can verify what she's saying. Number two, should be a good chance of...
Officers suspect she could be carrying drugs internally.
We've done the bags, there's nothing in the baggage, so we're going to bring her over to the interview room over here, take her in here and get her to get an interpreter on the phone so we can get some sort of understanding as to what a trip entailed and see if we can get the answers that we're after.
We'll just go over to the...
Another flight from Vietnam and another passenger has attracted customs attention because of her frequent travel and obvious lack of funds.
The passenger admitted that she hasn't worked for at least 12 years. She was a former dressmaker. How do you afford to travel so frequently if you haven't worked for the past 12 years? You don't have a cent to your name. So they're avenues that we will pursue during questioning. I look at your passport. You travelled to Vietnam many times this year.
Yeah.
How you pay back money?
Before I working,
Yeah.
I pay for super remuneration.
How much did you get for super?
I take it out about 15,000, 1.5.
When you come back,
But I look at your passport. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trips to Vietnam in past 2 years. So that's at least 7,000 gone. How much money you have left from that 15,000?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
And listen, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask you questions. Best thing for you to do is just answer them as I ask them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to you about drugs.
Okay, this is a parcel that's declared as tea and clothes. Coming from China. Here's our tea. Okay, these are 4 bottles of tea, green tea. We do require it to be commercially packaged. So that will actually be a return to sender.
But as Michael digs deeper into the box, he finds something that has definitely not been declared and is of grave concern.
Closer look at this. What we have here is some turtle shells. Judging from the look of them, they've probably been taken from wild turtles. Chinese turtle shells and tortoise shells are actually valued, some of them for their Chinese medicine purposes. So I'm gathering that they're not being brought in for a collector, that they're being brought in for medicinal purposes.
But the officer is about to discover that the turtle shells could pose an even more deadly problem.
Explain to me the circumstances of the offence where you were committed to a term of imprisonment of 3.5 years?
It all started on a night out in London, actually. I decided to go to a nightclub. Me and two friends were partial to a bit of ecstasy. So we all decided to club our money together, and I'd approach the dealer in the club and try and buy some ecstasy. I managed to find someone in the club. I purchased 7 for myself and 15 for my 2 friends. I got caught by the bouncers and handed over to the police, and I told the police the 7 was mine and the 15 were for friends, which they then said, because I admitted to handing the 15 to my friends, I'm going to be arrested for intent to supply. And following on from that, I received a jail sentence of 3.5 years, which I served 21 months in prison for. I served my time in Belmarsh prison. Belmarsh, it's a high security, maximum security A prison, category A prison. 23.5 hours a day lockdown.
John's honesty so far is one thing, but an offence relating to narcotics is not going to work in his favour. Unless he can persuade Ross that he has changed his ways, he could be sent straight back to the UK. In Melbourne, a passenger off a flight from Vietnam has just been taken into an interview room for further questioning.
She's gone in here now, and we just wanted to do a frisk search to start off with. Given her the frisk search card, and she's read through it. She really was a bit hesitant in doing the frisk search, and then we explained it to her, and then she's basically quite happy to do it.
During the frisk search, female officers make a disturbing discovery.
It appears to be that she's defecated in her trousers, which may be indicated that she's got something stuffed inside her. I've given her the opportunity to go and change her jeans and her underwear so she feels a bit more comfortable. But she's turned around now and said that she wants to just get out of here, jump in a cab in her clothing as it is, and go home and clean herself up. So we're going to go and ask her a few more questions and see why she's in such a hurry to get out of here.
And this other passenger from Vietnam has just made a startling admission to Officer David that she has taken drugs before.
What drug did you take?
Ecstasy liquid.
Ecstasy? Yeah. Who gave you the ecstasy? Who gave you ecstasy? You buy? We don't care what she does in her private time. Our main concern is that she may attempt to import something prohibited across the border, and that's where we come in. Our main role is to prevent illegal goods from being imported across the border. Who did you buy ecstasy from?
Oh, I don't know.
You don't know? Just person?
Yeah.
Boy, girl?
Boy.
You still see that boy?
No, long time ago. I don't know.
Oh, you had to think about that one, didn't you?
No, I don't know.
No, you sure?
No, sure.
And this isn't the first time this passenger has come to the attention of officers.
The custom keep me about 6 hours, and the lady put me like that.
Yep. What happened?
Yeah, they think me no good. I don't know, but they do like that. I just go overseas. Why?
What's wrong?
Do like that for me?
Why did they do that?
Yeah, they think
Take
me
it upstairs, just
no
explain to
good.
me.
They take me go to hospital 4 hours.
Why?
They tell me, you know, somebody put the heroin in the tummy. Yeah, not fair for me.
Do you understand why they do that?
I know.
So today, will we find drugs? Will we find drugs inside you?
You take me?
No. Will we find drugs?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
I came out and the first thing I'd done was to get a job, and that was like something I didn't do before. I'm a floor layer. I've done that for 5 or 6 years, and now I'm just learning to be a builder as well. I'm definitely pulling my socks up, as they'd say.
Despite his honesty about a criminal conviction, the officer's main concern is whether John still uses drugs. So Ross consults his duty manager.
Maybe we need to do a quick baggage search and see with customs, just in case, and they can do some swaps.
Yeah.
Then we make a decision.
Right.
So now officers, with the help of a drug detector dog, will examine John's luggage.
And the dog will...
Yeah, as long as we don't wee in it, that's all right.
At the Melbourne Gateway facility, Officer Michael has discovered 8 highly prohibited turtle shells with huge quarantine concerns hidden in a box.
They still have flesh clinging to them. And the problem with this flesh is that it can harbor microorganisms, viruses, bacteria, which can then infect Australian amphibian life. Could be very deadly. So we have to be very careful of that. The second issue with turtle shells coming from China particularly is that they're very liable to be endangered species.
This could be a violation of the Endangered Species Act, and so Officer Michael calls in Senior Customs Officer Christina.
I can't identify the definite species because they've taken the outer layer off, and you can normally identify them from the pattern on the shells, but as the pattern's been taken off, it's like they've scraped them to use the external section for jewellery or brooches or maybe the lacquer inlaid boxes that they make.
The risk of viruses or bacteria is so high that the turtle shells must be immediately treated by quarantine.
When you take an exotic disease from a different environment like China, where it might not be a threat to the species there, it might react in an entirely different way to a native species. It could really destroy an entire wild population. I mean, there's a potential for species to become extinct just by virtue of disease. So we treat those things as a very high risk, extremely high risk commodity.
How many girls?
2 boys, 3 girls. I don't want to talk with you.
You don't want to talk to me?
I don't want to talk with you.
The passenger is becoming increasingly agitated.
What's the matter? What's wrong? Why are you taking your shoes off?
Why?
Can you keep your clothes on, please?
Every time. I don't know
Every
why.
time, hey?
I don't know why.
As the baggage search continues, Officer David finds some mysterious pills.
What's this one for? This one. What's this one for?
I don't know.
All right, those pink ones, do you know what they're for?
You look, I don't know, because
You got no
for my
idea?
sister, I don't know. I don't know.
The pink ones, she's got no idea what they are. She doesn't know how they got there, where they've come from.
Who gave her these? Does she have a prescription?
She's got no
for them?
idea. She's going
What,
through.
she's picked them up off the street?
Yeah,
and brought
she's
them
got
in?
no idea. The pink ones, she's got no idea where they've come from. She didn't even know they were in there when we pulled it out of the bag.
While David continues to question the passenger, Officer Carolyn runs a test on the pills.
She's got 10 or 12 boxes of this particular tablet.
The test is inconclusive, so Officer Carolyn will run the substance through a street lab machine, a laser-based technology that will hopefully identify the mysterious pills.
Now we'll take the passenger to a room, we'll assess her for an internal concealment, because we do have reason to believe she may be concealing narcotics internally.
Back at Sydney Immigration, customs officers are examining a British passenger's bags. It's an anxious wait for John and his girlfriend Kelly, who is waiting outside.
We've just conducted a comprehensive baggage search, and we're satisfied that the baggage and the person are completely clean of any narcotics.
Ross will now have one final chat with John.
Right, John, we've gone through a very lengthy process this morning. We've examined your character. You've provided us information in relation to your past conduct. I don't have any reason to doubt your credibility. You've been completely honest through the process of interview. We've made a decision, and it's in your favour. We're going to immigration clear you.
Okay, cheers.
To his relief, John can now enjoy his 3-week stay in Australia.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm allowed. I'm just glad I told the truth in the form, because it could have gone the other way, and I could have been going back to London right now. Still not washed, still not shaved. You know, so yeah, it pays to be honest. I think that's the moral of the story.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you this stuff. You're going to pack it all up. I'm going to go into a little private room, okay?
As the passenger is taken into an interview room so that officers can determine whether she might be carrying internally, the chemistry of the mysterious pills has been identified.
We believe these tablets are used in the prevention of obesity. They're a banned substance in the US.
However, the substance is not banned in Australia, and customs officers are satisfied that the passenger is not carrying drugs internally, so the passenger was allowed to go.
After a great deal of discussion and questioning of the passenger, we confirmed with a number of different external agencies. After that, we've decided that we have insufficient grounds to send her for an internal examination today, and as such, we've let the passenger go.
Officer Michael still has concerns about the passenger who remains in an interview room and has decided not to change her soiled clothing.
We've gone through the questioning and she's actually sat there in that clothing for basically for an hour. The questioning, her answers I'm not happy with, and I actually believe she's concealing something internally. We've detained her for an internal search. Now, she has refused to give consent, and her reason for that is that she is doing it out of pride, that she has a lot of pride in herself and she doesn't want to go to hospital and go through this process, which it's not an evasive process. We'll call the federal police. They'll come over and we'll refer it to them. They make their assessment, and then they'll decide whether they're actually going to take her to hospital or not. And to me, I'm pretty well 90% sure she's carrying something internally. Whether she swallowed it or stuffed it, I don't know. But I don't think she's telling the truth, and I'm, like I said, 90% sure she's got something.
Thousands of surfers arrive in Australia in search of the perfect wave. But today, in Sydney, customs suspect Californian surfer Rusty could be coming to Australia for other reasons.
You know, they treat me like I'm some drug warlord criminal, and it's absolutely preposterous. I'll tell you one thing, I paid a lot of money to come to this country, and these, what do you call them, custom officers, they're not doing their job. They're not going after the right people, obviously. So full of shit. Bro, these guys are a joke.
As it turns out, he could end up staying here for a lot longer than he planned, after swabs taken from his belongings reveal alarming results.
That was just off the board, man.
Do you use cocaine?
What?
Have you used cocaine recently?
Hell no.
Customs officers in Sydney intercept and examine tens of thousands of parcels every day before they are sent on to their final destination. Today, Officer Brett has discovered some unusual items in a package from India. There is a large number of bottles of pills which state they are herbal remedies.
What we've got here is a good indicator that something may be untoward. We've got a generic surname of Smith coming out of India, it appears, which is not something that you'd see too often. So we'll take a bit of a closer look and see what we can find.
Officers also find some wooden statues.
What we've located here is it's an ornament of some description that we've located in the parcel as well, and just by having a quick glance at it, appears to be a piece of timber of some description, but just giving it a quick tap, it sounds as though it's hollow.
Doesn't look too consistent there, does it?
No,
around there. Looks like there's something inside as well.
The statues will now have to be examined further. Every day at Sydney Airport, thousands of bags come through from all corners of the globe. Bags packed in houses, hotels, hostels and all places in between are often full of surprises, which is why quarantine must inspect everything.
We have a non-declarant from Indonesia. He's got 3 bags, but there's obvious signs of food, organic matter in all 3 suitcases, so they haven't declared, so we're going to inspect the bags, ask them the appropriate questions and have a look at what type of food they got, whether or not it's a quarantine risk or not. I just need to ask a couple of questions if that's all right, sir. You read the questions?
Yes.
And you understand all the questions?
Yeah, but I'm not sure about some of this one. Like
Which one are you not sure?
Any food or preserved food. That's.
And how are you not sure about that?
Because this is my wife packed for me, so I don't know.
Are you your wife?
Yeah.
And what kind of food do you have?
Susu kan?
Mac and apa tuh bumbu tuh apa?
Spice.
Spices? Okay, I need you, sir, to unlock this case for me, please. If you can unlock that one for me.
What's this one for? For your face?
You want to show me where the all the food is?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay, they're all right.
But as it turns out, the food is not the greatest concern. To the horror of the passengers, Leanne discovers an unwelcome stowaway.
Oh, there's a bug in here.
We have a bug in here.
I don't use cocaine, all right?
Just pack that bag up. Anything else in here?
With strong drug readings from the surfboards, Senior Customs Officer Morris wishes to examine them closely under X-ray.
That's the big one.
But Rusty seems to be getting more agitated.
You're going through my shit like I'm, you know, some convict. Who do you think I am? I came here on a surf trip. You're searching through every single one of my items like I'm a known drug dealer. Who are you? What are you? Who are these people?
Regardless of Rusty's protests, Customs is concerned that he might be here for reasons other than surfing.
I would say basically that's looking like it's all right.
With nothing found, the attention is shifted back to the passenger, whose behaviour is becoming more unusual.
So off.
His health is also deteriorating rapidly, and Customs discovers he's taken a handful of pills.
Fine.
Whoa.
Part of that problem might be the amount of tablets that you took will over the prescribed amount, won't they?
Can I get a drink, Bill?
Can we get a drink, please? Drink of water.
Pepsi.
We have a bug in here. What sort of bug is it?
Cockroach.
In Sydney quarantine, officers have discovered a live cockroach in a suitcase from Indonesia. And they're concerned that there may be an infestation in the bag.
Okay, I'll get a spray first of all. We have to make sure that there's not insect infestation in the bag. If it is, we have to contain that infestation and then possibly have to have the bag fumigated.
It's come out of these. I've got it in my hand.
Have you? All right, where's it?
This big cockroach thing.
Okay. Give it a squash and we'll see anything else here. Who says we don't do a hard job here? Cockroaches are what they call non-actionable insects. They don't pose a risk. However, it's the infestation that we're worried about and the possibility of eggs being laid in the bag. Leanne's going to give it a quick surface spray where we saw it, but there's no sign of just one hitchhiker. See a little spray in that pocket there, but it's all right. Okay.
Luckily, it appears that there's only one cockroach. And it's also good news for the passengers that their food has been given the all clear. But Greg must impress on them the importance of declaring everything.
You must tick yes rather than no, and it's quite obvious where it says there. All right, Maiden.
Okay, thank you.
All right, okay.
At the Sydney Mail Centre, officers are examining the contents of a parcel arrived from India.
Looks like it's just straw articles, but we'll test it just in case. Confirm that it's not a narcotic. And here is it a positive. We'll give a reaction, but it hasn't given a change, so it's a negative.
Officers think that the parcel has no items of concern until Officer Pete has a closer look at the herbal pills found in the package.
Some are sealed, some are unsealed.
We'll take a bit of a closer look and see what we can find.
Sydney, Rusty is on a downward spiral after it was revealed he had taken a handful of prescription pills.
Then you just come down here and took 15. Their muscle, what do they do?
Relaxers, man.
And what did the other ones do?
The other ones relax my muscles more. This is ridiculous. You guys are... This is bullshit.
Why'd you take 15 of them for?
Total ridiculousness, man.
Right,
come here.
Just listen to me for a minute.
What, ma'am?
For your own protection.
For my own protection.
Those tablets you took, you always take so many?
Myself. What you're doing to me is totally ridiculous.
The officers are monitoring the rapid decline in the passengers' focus and reactions.
I guess, drugs are a high, commodity in, Australia.
Officers believe they might not be natural remedies, as the labels suggest.
To make sure they are what they are, we'll get them tested and get a result from there.
Another good indicator too that something may be untoward is the seal is broken, and the bottle states that there should be 60 capsules contained in the bottle, and just by having a quick glance there, there's more than 60 tablets. What we're doing now is just taking one of the tablets out of one of the bottles, and I'm going to run a street lab test on it to see if it can give us some indication of what the tablets actually are. It's given us a result of what the substance or the tablet may be, and it's telling us it's come up with a reading of 1.000 for pseudoephedrine, which is a very high reading.
It's a positive result for the drug which can be used to make methamphetamine.
45, 46, 47 bottles.
Taking out the weight of the container, we've estimated that there's probably about 90 grams of pseudoephedrine in each bottle. When you add that up, it just comes in under 4.5 kilos. When you convert that into what it could be used for, like there is a legitimate use for pseudoephedrine, but it also is a precursor to make methamphetamine. It is a substantial find.
The 47 bottles contained enough pseudoephedrine to manufacture 2 kilos of methamphetamine, with a street value of around $1.5 million. In Melbourne, a Chinese student has been pulled aside by quarantine officer Peter.
Can you tell me what's the problem with me? I don't know.
What we're trying to assess is this your card, and if you've understood the questions on the card.
She has not declared any food, but her bag has been x-rayed, and officers now suspect the passenger is trying to bring in prohibited items.
But you understand number 6, any food includes dried, fresh, preserved, cooked and uncooked?
Yes, the food is have package, so I think it's not include that.
The incoming passenger card clearly states that all types of food must be declared.
Okay. So what we're going to focus on is just show me the food that you have. Get it all out for me.
It's the dry beef, but it's packaged.
Okay, let's have a look at some of this food. So what are these, pork sausages?
Yes, it's packaged, so I think it's...
So where did you get the idea that because it was packaged, it was okay?
Yeah.
Where does that say on the card?
So?
Where does it say, if it's packaged, it's okay?
Packaged or not, all meat products carry the risk of disease.
Bringing in any meat into Australia poses a serious risk because you only get one chance. With a virus, we get virus outbreaks. They can't be contained. Places like Japan and Taiwan that really do have very strict standards on their meat importation, we lose those markets. That could be billions of dollars.
I think the food is dry, so and it's packaged, so I think it's alright. So I don't know why.
Customs officers have been questioning this man who swallowed a handful of prescription pills, but his condition is rapidly declining, so they immediately called for an ambulance.
I'll tell him the first aid person's around. If he's not feeling well,
I've told him to tell me straight away.
Right.
Senior Customs Officer Morris is briefed as to the passenger's state.
How you going, mate? Rusty, I'm the first aid officer here. My name's Morris. Just want to make sure that you're going to be all right. Can you talk to me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Good, mate. Can you open your eyes for me? Right. What's your name? What's your name, Rusty?
Rusty.
All right. Can you tell me where you are? Can you tell me where you are at the moment? All right. Can you tell me what the pills were that you took before? Do you remember? Is that the normal dosage that you take for your ailment? All right, we might need to. Rusty, are you going to be able to sit up for me? You're going to be able to sit up for me? You're starting to fall asleep. What I need you to do, I need you to stay upright for me, otherwise we're going to have to lay you on the ground. I'm going to have to watch you carefully because I don't want you to be falling on me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, I'm going to have to put him on the ground.
Is this your first time into Australia?
No, the second time.
But this is not the first time that the passenger has brought through undeclared food items.
These items have never been allowed into Australia.
Yes, but the first time I can pass to the here, so I think it's alright. So
It's plainly just not good enough. If you've been to Australia before, you can't bring in these type of items. This is your second time into Australia. You've read the card, you've understood the card, and decided to make a false declaration. Okay, so today we'll be issuing you with a $220 quarantine infringement notice. Okay, it's a fine because of the high risk items that you have that are undeclared.
if I give up this one, I don't want this one.
These items can't come into Australia.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yeah.
you're still getting a $220 fine today.
I still.
That's right. We can't take those chances. It might only be a small risk, but we've got thousands of passengers coming through. If each of those passengers brings in a small risk, eventually we're going to get and hit somebody that does have a meat product that does have a virus with them. And that's why we do take such a serious stance with meat.
At Sydney International Airport, the paramedics have arrived for an American man who has collapsed after taking a handful of prescription pills.
Rusty, you keep talking to me, okay? Yeah, that's it. You stay there.
Keep talking to us, mate.
You keep chatting away.
So this one. Keep your eyes open, mate. It's terrible. This doesn't happen very often, and you know, one of our major concerns is for his welfare. He's not looking real good.
Stay awake for me, that's it. You keep talking. Yeah, I know, I'm just checking.
I'm a bit concerned. I don't know exactly what the pills were that he's taken over here, or whether he's taken any other medication, but...
I want you to stay all right. Okay, that's good. You stay awake.
Rusty slowly begins to respond to the officers, and the decision is made to get him quickly to a hospital. Customs, however, still need to consider a worst-case scenario.
At this stage, I don't know whether it's just the pills that he's taken just recently, or whether he's suffering from something else. They'll let us know, but I'm hoping that it's not because he's got stuff inside that's leaking, because if it is, that can be very, very dangerous. Without a doubt, he could die.
Just behind you.
Sit down. Now you lay back, Rusty, okay?
An outspoken passenger has attracted the attention of officers.
He was using quite a few profanities at the line and seemed very unhappy. His partner that's travelling with him seemed very disturbed by this, so we thought we could have a chat just to see what's going on, to make sure that he wasn't on something.
I know they've got jobs to do, and I'm not rubbing these people's noses in it either, by the way. I know they might... I'm not, I promise you. Yeah, I'm just trying to make light of something that I'm having a really hard time of dealing with.
So I'll just get you to come and stand up and stop leaning on the bench for me.
Sorry.
Thank you. Would you like a chair, sir?
I don't need a chair, thank you, no. Even though I might be a little bit drunk, I certainly don't need a chair, just a chair. If I had a few more beers, then I might say, yeah, I need a chair. I'm just a little bit, yeah. See,
He's moving to Melbourne with his family.
Basically, my girlfriend's Australian, brought up in Melbourne. We've got a child now, we've got one on the way. I'm hoping to get full residency here, and it's a very hard thing for me to do because I've left a lot of... I'm 45, you know. It's a lot of things to leave behind, your friends, your family.
And he's here to meet the in-laws. So to help settle his nerves, he says he enjoyed a couple of in-flight beverages.
Well, do you know what? The first part of it, which was the longest part, I was actually quite good. It was as I was getting closer to Australia, it was thinking about meeting her family for the first time, the mum, too well, the dad and stuff. So all of a sudden it's like, oh God, and I'm worried, yeah. So I just went boom, boom, boom. It was the
While his humorous banter continues, when a drug swab is taken off his belongings, the result is no laughing matter.
So you can't explain the readings off of your wallet?
The remote West Australian ports of Dampier and Cape Lambert are among the busiest shipping ports in the country. More than 1,800 vessels dock here each year, and it's customs' job to make sure everyone and everything arriving is above board.
We've got a vessel here today from Southeast Asia. On board's about 22 crew. The crew are Eastern European. We find they are the high risk for desertion, so we're going to go on board today and we're going to just check that nobody's got their bags packed, ready to get off. In its last 10 ports of call, this vessel has been to South America, particularly Colombia. Colombia is high risk for cocaine and other narcotics, so we're going to go on board with a big team today and we're going to do a comprehensive search.
Hello, Captain.
Hello.
I'm Chris from Customs. How are you going?
Nice to meet you.
Captain, just to give you a heads up of what's going to happen today, we're going to come on board and do some searching, customs activity, okay? Alison and Justin are going to do the customs formalities and paperwork with you. What we will need is we'll need to see all crew and do a face-to-passport check with all crew. We'll bring on the search team and we'll need some escorts just to take the search teams around so that we can get into all the areas and do a search of the vessel. Is that okay, Captain?
That's okay, fine.
Colombia and Brazil are high-risk countries for narcotics. Customs must be satisfied the crew are not trying to smuggle any illegal cargo over the border. And on a ship this size, there's literally hundreds of hiding places. Travel agents in certain countries openly advertise the claim that they can get people into Australia to work illegally.
Okay, just bear with me for a moment.
Immigration officers in Sydney have detained a Malaysian passenger. They first need to determine his commitment to return home after only a 4-day holiday.
Mr. Liu, what I would like you to do is to give me the names and telephone number of someone who I can contact in Malaysia to confirm that you are in Australia on a holiday and that you do operate your business from your home.
He said he has a phone number of the travel agent.
One question that I would like you to answer, and that question is, where are your parents?
He said, I don't know, what have I done wrong?
我跟我父亲没有讲话的，你会知道吗？
He said
我的家是命中已经。
He and his brother doesn't talk to the father, and the family is a very complicated one. If you ask about his parents, he gets upset.
Okay, now I am going to ask you further questions about your parents. When was the last time you saw your father?
我跟我哥哥也是没有讲话的，你会知道吗？要讲到
He said he don't even talk to his brother. He
我这
said
事
that
已经够复杂了，我这已经
family,
复
he
杂
doesn't
的。
like it. He rather not to come into Australia.
The passenger's continuing evasiveness doesn't work in his favour. And he's about to reveal something which makes officers even more suspicious of his motives.
Pain in the arse, that's what I would say.
Pain in the arse. A slightly intoxicated English passenger has been getting a bit cheeky in Melbourne Customs.
Earlier, my supervisor took a swab of your wallet. Okay, she's testing to see if there's traces of any drugs or explosives. Have you had any contact with any narcotics?
No.
Have you ever had any use of narcotics?
Yeah, I used to, because it's on my record. I've been honest with it. Yes, I used to. I was banged up for cocaine years ago.
Cocaine?
Yeah.
When was the last time that you had used any cocaine?
Years ago.
So you can't explain the readings of your wallet?
No, I can't. No, I can't. And I'm being quite honest there. I can't explain that, whether or not someone's used my card or whatever. I mean, I have friends that take stuff, yeah. You know, whether or not they've used, they said, oh, is there anything? But I don't. I might have lent it to someone a year ago or 2 years ago in a party or whatever, but no.
We've done some itomiser swabs and it's shown that there's presence of cocaine. At the moment, he has had criminal convictions in the United Kingdom for possession of cocaine and intention to distribute. So at the moment, we're just having a look to see if he is carrying anything, whether it be personal use or a larger quantity.
I've got nothing to hide whatsoever. We'll go through all this just for...
Customs has begun the enormous task of performing a search of this bulk carrier and its crew.
Well, the ships come from high risk for narcotics countries, the previous ports of call, so there's always the concern there that there's narcotics, but also we're looking for any other prohibited items that the crew might bring in. There's a lot of hiding places on any ship, and there's a lot of people that do try to hide things.
While officers search the cabins for contraband, the crew's passports are checked to ensure there's no fraudulent documents.
Obviously, there are certain indicators that we have. Quite often, if somebody doesn't want to show you that they've been to a certain place in the world, they'll try and actually remove the whole page. The stitching that binds the passports together is actually security encoded. This thing magnifies the stitching, and you can actually tell if it's been attacked or lifted.
While Justin carefully scrutinises each passport in the cabins, the search continues.
Above this deckhead here, for example, there could be on some ships there's a 6-foot void space up to the next level of the floor above. It's not unheard of, for example, above a cabin that stowaways have been found, and mattresses and bits of food and drink that people have been supplying them en route.
To assist in the search, specially trained detector dogs are brought in.
Basically, we're looking for firearms and explosive substances, such as plastic explosives, detonation cord, things like that. You never know. You never know what you may come across.
At Sydney Immigration, officers are thinking this Malaysian passenger might be planning to work here illegally.
The information he's given us is that he operates this cell phone cafe out of his house, which is not his house, it's his parents' house. They don't live there. It's a business that was handed down to him from his father. He's been operating it for 4 years. The viability of the business can't be confirmed. No one is currently operating the business.
Confirming that a legitimate business does exist could give officers assurance that the passenger is in fact going to return home.
Now, let's talk about your business. Who is operating your business while you are not able to?
关店的休息啊。
he said at the moment the business is on holiday.
And you have 2 other employees, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, where are the 2 employees now?
我们在我们马来西亚的情
He
况
said that in Malaysia they employ illegal migrants. So those illegal migrants they are very unstable. So he doesn't know where they are now.
Okay, are those 2 people illegal migrants?
印尼妹啊那种啊。
Yeah, they are from Indonesia. They're considered illegal.
All right.
Ross is now concerned that if the passenger has no respect for his own immigration laws, he will have no qualms about staying and working in Australia.
If he's intent on employing illegal workers,
What is his intention in coming to Australia is?
it doesn't do a hell of a lot for his credibility in terms of the Australian workplace, does it?
That's right. So obviously he's got no intention, he's got no incentive to go, he's got no employment.
Not really, no. I think we're moving towards a result here in terms of his credibility. It's no, it's not looking too flash for him.
Clever girl.
2 customs detected dogs are working in tandem, searching through the cabins of a bulk carrier.
Ready to go there? Here, find it. Good boy. Find it, pal. Here, that's it, dog. Good boy.
While the dog units search the cabins, the rest of the officers check every conceivable hiding place, both above and below deck.
Because of the area of the search that we've got to do, and the amount of officers and the amount of time that we actually have with the vessel, sometimes it could be a small package that you're actually looking for. So with all the areas that we've got to look for, with the staff that we have, it's sometimes, it's like a needle in a haystack trying to find it.
The forepeak of the vessel is a popular hiding spot for people smuggling and contraband.
I guess the guys who work on the ships think that as an area customs officers won't normally go into. We're here to prove them wrong, and when we go down there, we search those areas, hopefully we find things. There's a couple of main risks when we're going into a confined space. We need to make sure that down there the atmosphere is safe for the officers to breathe. We're checking for toxic gases, we're checking that oxygen level, and we're also checking for explosive gases as well.
Over in immigration, this passenger has admitted he employs illegal workers back in Malaysia, which is a major concern to officers. They believe he might attempt to work here, which would be a breach of his tourist visa.
Hang on a minute, you're going too fast. Interpreter, could you just ask him to contain his...
He's angry.
Yeah, I can sense that, but did the police or the Malaysian immigration find out that you were employing illegal workers?
He said over there, if they are sort of found out that he has illegal people working for him, they will just give him a fine. And some of them, they don't fine, they just want money.
Leaving the passenger time to calm down, Ross discusses this new information with Cyril.
Now, in terms of risk of him breaching his own visa condition, he's demonstrated that he doesn't have a problem with breaking the law.
That's right.
I'm of the opinion that if he was given the opportunity, he would engage in employment.
Ross and Cyril believe they have enough information to take further steps.
Now, Mr. Liu, you have provided me with a lot of information this morning, and I've reached a point where I will serve you with a notice of intention to cancel your visa.
我回去了。
That means you want me to go back.
Well, we'll get to that, but I'll explain the process. I will provide you with 10 minutes to consider a response to the intention of cancelling your visa. And then you can tell me why I should not cancel your visa.
然后你告诉他他有什么原因你不能够吧。
I knew all this would happen, I knew all this would happen. Because, you know, you write down all your honesty and this, that and the other, criminal, you know, done something when you were very young.
Those questions on the card are an immigration concern where customs...
No, listen, I'm not putting you down. I'm not putting you down, love, for it.
Yeah, I'm just explaining that by ticking that, that's not necessarily why you're here.
This passenger enjoyed a few drinks on his long flight, then attracted officers' attention with his unusual banter. And now positive drug readings have been taken from his belongings.
He has admitted that he's drunk quite a volume of alcohol on the plane. That could be all there is. There may be other factors in play, but there's no way for us to know that for sure. So it's just something to keep in the back of our head. Being inebriated as he is, he's very tricky to deal with. So, sir,
sorry.
Did you carry any drugs with you on the plane?
Not at all, not at all. I mean, you can check me from wherever any area you can, and I'm fine. I promise you. So,
Where did you get your tattoos?
I done it myself, yeah. My drug-fueled days when I was a youngster, like I say, is something you put behind you when you're older and you've got children. But yeah, you sit there like out of your head and you sit there and go, oh, this is a good idea. And so it's there. I know, very sad, but it's like I was very young when I done it.
Now the supervising officer has been called.
What I would like to do today is that to detain you for a free search.
Yeah, no, you're quite welcome to.
Yeah, because of the cocaine reading that we're getting from your wallet.
No, you're quite welcome to.
We just want to make sure that you're not carrying anything with you today.
No, by all means, yes.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is that a male officer will actually run down their hands over your clothing, outer clothing. At no time they'll be holding your skin.
No, that suits me fine.
Yep. I'm just going to explain to you your rights.
I'm quite happy with everything.
If you want that officer to stop, just let him know.
No, come take me through it and I'm fine.
But including that one, I would like you just to read your rights.
I don't need to.
Just for the procedure, sir, you need to.
I've read it. No, I've read it.
Would you like me to read it for you?
No, I've read it. I've got time. I can't just go do it.
So just go quickly read it. Here, and the one at the back, please. Thank you.
That's fine.
Yeah? So did you understand them all, sir?
Yeah.
So are you giving consent for the first to be carried out?
Yes.
What's going to happen is we've got this male officer in there.
That's no worries.
He's actually going to do it in a search.
I'm fine.
Just need you to come over here.
Would you like it to be done in here or inside the room?
I'm not bothered where you want to do it. It's up to entirely up to you.
Okay.
Entirely up to you. Do you need to take my clothes off?
No, take my clothes off. Feet like this, mate. Feet like this. Turn around. Arms straight out to the side. A little bit wider at the feet, please. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Don't need shoes off? You'll regret it. Because they stink, most probably.
Do you have any concern in relation how the pre-search was conducted, sir? You're okay with that?
No, of course I'm fine. Yeah,
Thank you.
I expected a lot of this because, obviously I had a criminal record, so...
Yep, thank you very much for that.
No worries at all. Thank you for being so...
Yeah, that's good.
Such a pain in the arse. No, I'm joking.
He's now customs cleared and he's free to start his new life.
The end result was he was allowed to depart. We didn't find anything in his bags. We think that he's just a little bit too inebriated when getting off the plane. But in the end of the day, he was fine. He didn't have anything in bags that he shouldn't have had. So.
It's been hard work, long flight.
Customs are searching a bulk carrier that's just arrived in a West Australian port. The crew will also need to have their passports checked.
What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be doing face-to-passport checks. All of the crew are going to come on to this office, and one by one they'll come on in, grab their passports, and we'll look at that person and we'll just make sure that it is in fact that person stood in front of us and it's the same photograph in the passport. Can I just get you to remove your hard hat? Would you mind removing your hard hat, please? Wonderful. Thank you. Yep, you can go. Thank you.
Your position on board?
Third engineer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The passport checks are now complete and the crew are cleared. And after hours of thoroughly searching this huge vessel, Customs has finished all its checks and have determined everything to be above board.
search went down beautifully. The staff performed sensationally. We are quite confident that we can walk off this ship, and there's nothing that was to be found. We've done 100%.
In Sydney immigration, this Malaysian passenger has been served with a notice to cancel his tourist visa. Not only do officers believe he's here to work, they think he has little regard for any immigration laws.
That he's paid off the Malaysian police because he's been found employing illegal workers. Therefore, his behaviour towards immigration policy and his credibility is very, very slender.
The passenger now has one last chance to prove to officers that he is a legitimate tourist.
You have admitted to me that you operated a business in Malaysia and you knowingly employed illegal people.
I'm just honest with you. In Malaysia, everybody has illegal worker. Yeah, I can tell you anything. I can tell you lie, give you a wrong name, but I did not. I tell you the truth.
Do you have anything further to say to me?
I didn't do anything wrong in your country.
Okay, I've listened and I've heard what you've said, Mr. Liu. I will now advise you that you are no longer the holder of a visa. You are now in immigration detention. You have been refused immigration clearance, and you will be removed and returned to your home country of Malaysia.